There you go. I put you up there, folks, like Sarasota says. Yeah, it's taking them forever with this bus. I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, whenever those lights are flashing, even before that stop sign comes out, you got to stop. If you're in the other lane, you'll get a ticket. And you know what? They also have cameras on board those buses. They're watching. Yeah, what I'm going to talk about today, I got some interesting stuff that I want to go over. One of the topics, we're going to talk about that healthcare killer, alleged healthcare killer that assassinated the CEO of United Healthcare. We're going to talk about that. This guy, Mangione, they have a suspect. He's a suspect at this time. Mangione, Luigi, that's the guy's name. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Sarasota. Rhymes with Yoda, also known to drive and like Toyota. Now he's driving Ford. I'm going to put my defrost off. Hopefully it's not making too much noise. Let's see. These controls, you got to figure it out, right? There we go. Okay. The blower, apparently when it's on defrost, the blower stays on high. Yeah, you can see what kind of weather we got here. The grass may be a little green, but make no mistake about it, New York's got bad weather. It's super cloudy and dark, and the grass, it's going to be frozen in a day or two. Yeah, you'll see what kind of traffic we got up here. See if we can get up here, get around some of this. Yeah, it's a good traffic to make a video in because you're going, you're not going to be, you might as well do two things at once if you're going this slow or you're in a backup. I have the wireless mic on right now. I showed you guys, so I don't have to touch anything. I have my phone mounted on the window. I'm not going to hold it in my hand like Tim. And yeah, just let it do its thing. There's a light and a train crossing up here. That's part of the problem. So, yeah, I was watching Tim. He's driving. He entered the Florida state line, and he's getting all excited to be back. I don't know, what's the deal? He wanted to do the travels, and as soon as he does the travels, he wants to be back home. Or he doesn't even have a home there, but back to his park, his trailer park, where he gets the free hookup. Or he's paying rent, let's put it that way, but essentially if he's not there, he's not using the amenities that he could be. The luxurious Blackwater hookup, not everyone can get that. He's a lucky man. He was talking about, he went on a little bit of a rant talking about how he's privileged to live in a trailer and he planned for that. He also mentioned that he was divorced. I never heard him say that before. That's what happened. He was divorced from his wife. They have these red light cameras in New York. I'm not going to chance it. They actually are eliminating that, I heard, in Suffolk County. I've never gotten a red light ticket. I'm lucky. Because, you know why? Wow, that is a Rivian going by there. The guy, he must have floored it out. He was driving recklessly with all this rain. One of those Rivian pickups. What the heck? So, yeah, they actually are eliminating the red light program here in Suffolk, which is great news. I don't know if they've done it yet. I don't want to get a ticket at the last minute. They were also charging people a surcharge. Believe it or not, somebody took them to court and they found both counties on Long Island, Nassau and Suffolk, have to refund the surcharge to the people they were ticketing. The ticket was like $50, and they were putting on like a $50 surcharge, something like that. Maybe even more than that. I read something about $150 is what they were billing people if you go through one of those red light cameras. And the thing is, it's really a scam because it's not catching someone that's legitimately running the red light. What it's doing is it's trying to catch people that are too slow going through the yellow light, and then it turns to red on a, they speed up the interval. It's really a nasty trick, These politicians that pass this stuff, some of them, you really got to wonder, they're almost criminal. They don't have the best interests of the people at heart. They're just trying to make money for the county or, the state, municipality. And then that way maybe they can justify giving themselves a raise. I don't know what. I mean, the program, anyone could tell it was fatally flawed. It was causing rear-end collisions. People were stopping short while the light was yellow. There was an article. They finally got the news coverage it deserved, and they finally are putting an end to the program. It only took a court battle to find out they were doing something unconstitutional, and now they have to refund all those surcharges they were doing. Yeah, they're famous. These municipalities, they're famous for that. They'll give you like a $40 ticket, and they'll put a $100 surcharge on it for whatever reason. It's illegal. It's unbelievable what things, the state of the country and the way the economy works and stuff. But yeah, I never got one of those tickets because I drive at night a lot of times, and if you're driving around at night, you see flashes going off from the cameras. So then you're like, aha, that's where the red light camera is. And you know exactly where all those cameras are that they're doing it at. Unfortunately, they do. I think they're required to put a little sign. It says like photo enforced, but like the sign is the size of like an index card that they put somewhere. I haven't even noticed the sign at that intersection I just went through with the turn. That has the cameras. I see them, and I see them flashing at night. At least they used to. I never even noticed the sign that says photo enforced. It's probably so small. So, yeah, we're talking Tim's divorce. Apparently, that's what happened. And he's not going to tell you the details about it. He just said his ex-wife, that's what happened. They split up. They got divorced. And then he was living in a trailer after that for a while. Not a trailer, but I think he was saying it was a small RV. He lived in for a couple of years, and he was doing that traveling salesman gig. Quote, advertising. That's what he likes to call it, advertising. Yeah, here's a gas check here. Planet Gas, $2.99 regular unleaded. That's not, well, I think you can get cheaper if you go over to Billy Joel's neck of the woods, Levittown. They got the best gas prices over there. I bet you could find it for $2.69 maybe, or $2.55, something like that. Over in Levittown. Billy Joel did a song. I saw him at MSG one time, Madison Square Garden, in the city where Trump held that rally a few weeks back. Well, he did a song one time called Allentown. And when I went to see him at MSG, he said, I was going to do the song I was going to call it Levittown, from, I guess, where he grew up, Levittown, Long Island. And he's like, the problem was nothing was happening there. There was nothing to sing about. So I had to do it about Allentown. Allentown, PA. So, yeah, wow, there's a bunch of white stuff on that field. What is that? They're seagulls? Yeah, it looked like, I thought it was like soccer balls or something. It's filled with seagulls. Yeah, it's a rainy one today. Yup. This is like the swamp where Yoda was. Remember that in Star Wars? Yoda's swamp. And I wish I could do work on my cars, but I can't do, with this much precipitation coming down, precip, I can't even be out there doing my car work. Here's a Starbucks. It used to be a bank. Watch out for this guy jackassing it around, right? So, yeah, Levittown's got good gas prices. They used to say, it's funny, if you guys ever watch that show Duel, the movie Duel, it was Steven Spielberg's one of his first gigs. He made that movie about the tractor trailer chasing the guy. Dennis, who was in there? Dennis Weaver, was that his name? Yeah. Now that guy's ready to back out. I gotta focus here. I'm gonna get into a spot. Oh, I saw that truck there the other day. It's like some kind of like lowrider truck. Here we go. Duel. That's some flick, guys. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's from like the early 70s. Dennis Weaver. And yeah, I was saying something about it here. Hold up. Okay, let me shut this off. I'm going to switch cameras. Let's see if we can if we don't have the echo chamber going on here. All right, guys. Hey, this better not be the echo chamber. I better not be Godzillaing today. This ridiculousness. Here. Oh, that's too much light. I'm glowing orange now. Because this thing has like a brown leather interior. Okay, guys, yeah, Duel, Steven Spielberg's flick. What I was getting at, the guy in there, he was saying he went into the gas station. Here, I'll put my glasses up so I can see you better. He went into the, I use those for distance. That's what the deal is. He went into the gas station and he's like, fill her up with ethyl. And nowadays they have this gas that is E85. It has ethanol, a lot of ethanol in it. And even the regular gas has 15% or 10%, I think. 10% ethanol. It's alcohol, right? And I was like, when I saw that movie, I was like, what the heck, ethyl? Is that the ethanol or whatever? No. When he says fill it up with ethyl, apparently, and you guys may know this, you'd be like, what are you talking? Everyone knows that. That's tetraethyl lead. And they would put that in the gas to give the octane, give it an octane boost. You could have like 10-to-1 compression. You could get a lot of horsepower out of the engines. They had high compression performance. Back in the day, they had that lead gasoline, and the high test lead was tetraethyl lead. So he pulls in, and they have the attendant back then. He wears the cap and everything, comes over, and the guy's like, fill it up with ethyl. He wanted the high test, even though he's driving a wimpy car, a Dodge, some kind of Dodge. I know the name of that thing, but the bottom line is Valiant, something like that. You guys will know. Put it in the comment. There's got to be Duel fans out there. It was a popular movie. It was a basic Dodge sedan back in the day, and most of them were powered with a 6-cylinder engine, a straight 6. It's an old school engine. Matter of fact, this car is powered by a straight 6, but it's a diesel, and it also has a turbo on it, so it's more high tech. I wish it had a V8. So anyway, some of the scenes in that movie are actually used a Dodge car. It's maybe a little bit different on the outside. and it has a V8 in it. So it's really funny. Some of the scenes, guess when they need to go real fast, they use the V8 car. And then a few other scenes, they use the 6-cylinder, and you can hear the difference a little. There's like a European version of it that you will see more scenes with the 6-cylinder in it, believe it or not. Somehow I stumbled upon that. I was actually in Florida at my friend's when I saw that movie came on, and they were talking about like the director's cut. They were telling you about some of the info on it. Duel. All right, guys, I'll get back to Sarasota here. Let's see. His divorce. He was separated from his wife. Who knows what happened? Are both those kids that he has a daughter that's older, I assume, and he has a son. Are those both from the same wife? Or did he have two wives? Or two baby mamas? Two different baby mamas? We don't know. We don't know. He doesn't tell us that much about his background. Maybe you guys have heard in the past. Before I started, this channel is less than a year old, believe it or not. My brother-in-law got into Sarasota. He was watching him because he was doing a cruise. And then he was telling me about it because we were going on Harmony of the Seas, one of those big ships. It's called Oasis class that Tim goes on. That's how I found this channel. And then I started watching it. I was like, oh, wow, he lives in this trailer. That's kind of cool. He's going to do some trips maybe. I thought he was going to do cool stuff. It turned out I was wrong. He doesn't really do the cool content. He tried a little bit, but I don't know what the deal is. He can't film much of the stuff off the beaten path. I don't get it. There's a lot of strange stuff about it. That's why we bust on him. And speaking of busting, guess what, guys? I got a troll in my channel comments. Yup, I just left it up. I'm not going to be like Tim. Oh, it hurt my feelings. I gotta I gotta delete it. Yeah, there was a troll comment in there, and I just said to the guy, I have a theory. I kind of have a theory because I don't usually get any of those comments. Don't usually get them. The guy was like, he's like, oh, it's like you're a dork, and the content, you don't say anything, you don't talk about anything. I'm like, it's an eclectic channel. We talk about all kinds of stuff. But yeah, or it's like Seinfeld or whatever. It's a channel about nothing. Well, the thing is, it dawned on me what that might have been, that this is kind of crazy. And I just responded to the guy. I'm like, hey, you know what? What did I say to him? I said, I'm trying to improve my content, and I'm like, if you're not happy with it, I'll give you back the money you paid to watch. That's what I said to him. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, don't tell me that was actually, Blind Views, the guy like Howard Stern or whatever, and I think the guy's name's Lonnie. I'm like, wait a minute, I wonder if that was Lonnie. He's ghosting under a different name, because I'm like, I looked at the guy's thing and there's no subscribers, and it's it's not even a channel. It's like, those things with like also like very little history. Or Tim says, look how many comments they left. If it's like a new avatar or whatever, and they haven't left comments before, he's like, they just made that up. I'm like, wait a minute, don't tell me, was that Lonnie? He may have gotten offended. Blind Views, I didn't mean to offend him. I was just busting on him, but maybe he can't take a joke like Sarasota. I don't know if he can take a joke. I was busting on him about that funny little pad in Target that you can like move. You can pick your video source and the mic. And I'm like, yeah, this is where Blind Views got all his stuff. He set this stuff up here. It's little Mickey Mouse pad. You can adjust the video. Don't tell me he freaking, because that sounds like something he would say. That comment was just like what Blind Views would say. He would say something like that, right? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. It's a theory. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is also, what else? Okay, Sarasota, he's trying to entice people to live in a trailer like he did. He said it was like planned out. He planned for it. Well, the bottom line is, I don't know if I believe that, because the story I've seen is when his landlord raised the rent at his condo that he was living in with Miss Tammy, his apartment. When he raised the rent, Tim's like, I'm not going to pay that. No way am I paying that more rent. I can't afford that. I'm going to get me a trailer to live in. So I don't know about this planning, how he planned all that out. I don't know if I believe that. But yeah, he tried to do a little bit of content about a retirement rant about the trailer life or living in an RV to spice up his video today, because it was just the highway. There wasn't nothing to film. Nothing to film. I don't know. We'll see if it gets any better when he gets back to Florida. Apparently, he's gotten some kind of a fire pit he was boasting about. He may have got it at the Bucky or something, propane powered. And he said he's going to set that up with the chairs, and it's going to be great by his trailer. And he said, why don't you come over? Well, Tim, we'd like to come over, but the thing is, you got your shades pulled and you're not showing the outside. So how are you going to have us come to the fire pit when you set that thing up? I don't get it. We'll see what he does. We'll see what happens. But he said that he's excited about the propane fire pit. That's what he's looking forward to, getting back to Florida. And he's got to set up this mailbox so he can get Christmas gifts. We'll see. If he sets it up, maybe I'll send him something. I got to send him something cool, right? We'll see what I send him. Stay tuned. So, yeah, what I wanted to talk about, that alleged, the suspect in the healthcare killing. Pretty scary stuff, guys. Right where I was after the cruise, walking through the streets in NYC. The guy was walking to a meeting, a investment conference, and he was shot down. It's the city, it's tricky stuff. But the thing is, some of this stuff like that, it's targeted. So I don't really feel, well, it is true. If there's stuff like that goes on in the city, if you're on the street and there's bullets flying, if they ricochet or they could hit anybody. If you're walking on the street, you could have a real problem if you get caught crossfire. That's what it's called. So it's dangerous over there. There's a lot of people around. You got to be very vigilant when you're walking around. Keep an eye out for characters, etc. But this thing was targeted. And apparently this guy, a lot of people are saying he may be, in fact, like a, what do you call, like a kind of like a martyr or a hero, that, he was showing that the healthcare system is flawed. A lot of people sick people have been left to die or denied coverage. There's all kinds of stuff going around the internet. That's what people are saying. It is a problem in the United States, the healthcare systems. It is definitely a problem. I mean, it's very expensive, and then how much do they actually pay out? There's tricks. The insurance industry, it's a tough industry. And I'm going to tell you something else. I heard the CEO guy, who unfortunately passed away, he was making $10 million a year at that job. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really fair. What was he doing that would justify that kind of pay when you're in an industry that's supposed to be providing health care for people, very important. If you're denying claims or you're not paying out the right amount, why is this one guy making so much money? It's one of those jobs, if it's like a moral issue, you shouldn't be getting paid that much if that money could be used for health care for other people's health. That's kind of my take on it. But I wanted to talk about this guy, Luigi, the alleged. Okay, this guy, oh wow, that thing started up. It's got purple lighting underneath. Wow, that lowrider car. I don't know if you guys can see it where you are. It's got this purple, I can't bend it over there. Want to show you guys. If I don't want to play with it because it's gonna get messed up. I'm looking in my rearview mirror. That's where I'm seeing it. I can't even get to the rearview mirror without taking this out. Sorry guys. Maybe you'll see him when he backs up here out that window. So yeah, anyway, so this guy, what I was talking about is, I can't believe the guy, they said he was valedictorian of his class, the smartest guy in the class, right? And they showed video of him giving like speeches at the graduation. I cannot believe this guy is that smart. I cannot believe that. He did some stuff that is amazingly, in my opinion, is amazingly dumb. He stayed in a hostel in the city, right? And they said when they were looking for him, they found out the whole thing, that he went on a bicycle to this hostel. And they went to the hostel and they found the name or whatever that he was checked in under, right? That was on the news a few days ago before he was caught, right? Why? Riddle me this, Batman. Why in the world? They said the guy had the fake ID on him that he used to check into the hostel. Why would you do that? Why would he still have that? Days later, he's carrying around all the evidence with him. He had the ghost gun. Apparently, it was some kind of a homemade gun. He had even the silencer thing on it or whatever. He's carrying all this around with him. How's this guy a valedictorian if he can't? It's just the craziness. How could that be, that you would be that dumb to carry, if you commit a crime like that, and you any kind of crime, and you keep the stuff you did the crime with, and you already know the authorities are obviously going to be looking for the name on that the hostel, the license he used. Why would you ever be carrying that around? I mean, I hate to say it, but with that kind of stuff in his possession, I'm being an armchair quarterback here. I'm just analyzing what I've heard. With that in his possession, it's like Ricky Ricardo would say, "Lucy, you got some splaining to do." And the craziest part is, what happened was he was eating in Mickey D's, and he had that bandana thing, or no, one of those masks on, like a hospital type, the ones we used during COVID. He had that pulled up, and he was wearing a hat. And they said he pulled it down or whatever to eat his hash browns or something. When he pulled it down, people started to, a couple observant people in there, I think some senior citizens, were like, wait a minute, that looks like the guy from the shooting. You know what? I'm going to tell you what, being devil's advocate, I'm going to tell you his mistakes. First of all, no one's wearing those masks anymore, right? You saw what happened when I went on the cruise. I ended up getting sick because nobody has a mask on. I only saw 1 or 2 people on the whole cruise with a mask. No one's wearing them. So if you go into like a Mickey D's and nobody's wearing a mask, you're going to look suspicious right away. That's going to draw attention to you if you're wearing a mask. Definitely. I mean, and then if you're trying to like eat your burger and you're like doing like this, that's going to, people are, what are you doing? What are you doing? I almost could tell you, I almost could guarantee you that if he didn't wear the mask and he went into that Mickey's just wearing a hat, and he also, they said he was wearing something about the same kind of clothes. He had the same stuff that he was wearing when he did the shooting. Guys, what is this? If he went into Mickey's, he didn't have the mask on, and he was wearing different clothing, right? A different style outfit, maybe some bright colored clothes or whatever. I could almost guarantee you that nobody would have even called on him. They would have just seen him, and they would have been like, he's a Italian kind of looking guy. There's a lot of guys around that look similar. There wasn't anything about him that really distinguished him or stood out, you know, to make him look distinct, you know. There wasn't anything crazy about him. It wasn't like he had a tattoo on his face or something weird going on, you know. If he had just not worn the mask and he had different clothes on, and if he got rid of, this was the stupidest of all stupids. How could you have the evidence on you? He couldn't. Days later, what's he doing? What is he possibly thinking? Carrying around the same license, the fake ID that he used for a crime. That's insanity. Why would you do that? Did he want to get caught? I don't understand this. I mean, what he was thinking. I mean, right there. And then the gun, too. Hell, even if you have, where I live, it's very strict. You don't even want to own a gun over here. If you have anything like that, especially a handgun, you need special permits for that stuff. And even to get them is very hard, from what I hear. You can't be carrying that stuff around. Just that alone gave police the green light to actually arrest him and detain him. You can't carry a handgun around with you, even if it's not a ghost gun. You know, you'd have to have all the permits and stuff for it, and it's very expensive, and it's very hard to get. You have to have a reason, like if you were an armed security guard, or you have some kind of reason, then you can get the permit to carry it. But the guy was out to lunch with this. I don't understand it. I mean, now I heard today that they identified, I guess from the markings of the shells and stuff, that apparently that ghost gun was used. That was the same gun. So he's carrying around the same gun that he did the crime with. What is going on here? He should have gotten rid of all that stuff. You don't do that. And then even if police came to the Mickey D's and he didn't have any of that stuff on him, and he was wearing different clothes, if he played it cool and he just, they asked him, have you been to New York? And he started to get real nervous. That's what the story is. Okay, guys, that's a trick question. That's not, when they come up and they ask you that, the answer is no. That's a trick question. So he got real nervous. I don't know what he said. I don't know if they disclosed all the details yet. It will probably be tonight or something. They'll tell more. But if he didn't have the evidence on him, he was wearing different clothes, right? And then if he had his own license and he wasn't using the name of that he checked into the hostel with, I don't think they could really do anything to him. They'd be like, if he said, no, I haven't been to New York, here's my ID, I don't think they could have done anything if he didn't have any evidence on him. They can't just arrest him. They're like, oh, you look like the guy that did it. You got the same kind of nose as that guy. We're going to arrest you because your nose looks the same. No, they can't do that, guys. It's the criminal justice system. That's what we're talking about here. But I got news for you. The problem is there are a lot of cameras around, and this is not the 1970s where when they had a surveillance camera, it was the size of a shoebox, about yay big. Nope. It's not how it works now. And that's part of it right there. I mean, they had look at those surveillance camera footage. I mean, it takes a clear picture. Even it's full color. Got the color TV. It's not a black and white one. That's the other thing. Back in the day, all those cameras were black and white. They're even high def, those cameras, and they can actually zoom in on the picture and get the guy. New York City is loaded with cameras. They found exactly where the guy went, his whole path. Based on cameras, they went over the footage. So that was one thing. He probably didn't realize how good those cameras were. And apparently he took his mask off for the hostel. I think they may have had to check his face, or they might have a photograph or a camera for everyone that checks in just to prevent crime. So, yeah, there were a few problems, but I'm telling you, I think he would have gotten away with it if it weren't for him putting a mask on in Mickey D's and acting suspicious and carrying around all the evidence with him. Even if they came to Mickey's and he had the mask on and they said, hey, are you the guy? Have you been in New York? If he didn't have any evidence on him and he just said, no, you guys are mistaken, I just wear this mask, I've been sick with flu or cold, I'm trying to stay well, and I understand people might think I look suspicious with it. I bet you dollars to donuts that the cops would have just been like, okay, well, we just had to check out the lead, and they would have left him alone. If he didn't have evidence on him, they may have said, show me your ID. They may have checked him over a bit, but if he didn't have any of the evidence on him, I don't think they couldn't have detained him. Because they didn't have I don't know how much evidence they really have. If there were fingerprints or, the stuff that was left at the crime scene or the things they found. I don't know if they found the backpack from him, if he got rid of that, but I don't get that. Why would he get... Somebody told me that they found the backpack, but I don't know if that's true. If he did, all the stuff from the crime wouldn't it have been in the backpack? Or doesn't make sense, but they may have found a few things. The thing is, if you guys watch Forensic File on TV, Forensic Files, one of my friends, that's all he puts on. And he leaves that on when he goes to bed. I'm like, how do you sleep with that on all night? That's a lot of gruesome stuff. He loves that show. But if you watch that, I've watched it a few times. My friend Eric, over at his apartment, because he pays like the $200 a month or whatever for the cable TV. If you watch that show and you see all the techniques they have, yeah, they can do they can get fingerprints off a piece of paper that you can't even see them on. Guy, I saw they can, if you have a serial number on, like, a guy had like a chainsaw or something and the serial number was ground off, there was a way they used special chemicals and they could see what the serial number was just because the metal, the molecules of the metal were different under where the serial number had been punched out. It's pretty amazing stuff. So yeah, guys, hey, my advice, I'm going to give you some straight up advice. If you're a criminal and you're thinking of doing a crime, my advice is don't do it. Now, it may sound a little crazy, but I'm advising you as a friend, do not do the crime because you will get caught. There are cameras everywhere, all that stuff. Yep. As your friend, I'm not a licensed lawyer. I don't have an official, I only have a driver license. But I advise you not to do a crime. It's better to just make money at a job or do something else. Do some kind of gig. But anyway, this thing had nothing to do with money, actually. It was a, you know, it's controversial. There's things in the healthcare system that are a little bit, you know, it could use improvement. You know, we'll see if maybe Trump will do something to like help or revamp things or get the healthcare costs down. I don't know, but I can tell you one thing: the guy that was gunned down, he was going to a conference or a presentation, and from what I understand, and if I leave the comments open, I invite anyone to leave a comment. Don't sweat it. I'm not going to block them like Sarasota. From what I understand, the whole point of that conference was he was going to be boasting about how they make so much money. It was something to do with like an investor conference. So take it for what it is. I mean, it's you know, it's a tragic event for the guy's family, or personally, you know, for someone you're in the corporate world, you're not, you know, you're not a bandit, you're not in a violent profession where, you know, you're a white collar guy. You know, he paid the ultimate price, so to speak, and for things his company stood for or represented. You know, the guy may have been a good guy personally, but really though, you know, the $10 million, that's like, it's excessive. I know a lot of executives make big bucks like that, but you know, I don't know, is it justified? And it's also different when you're making big bucks and you're like running like a computer company or a cell phone company or something where you're giving people like a high-tech phone. They have a choice if they want that or not. If they want to pay that money for the fanciest thing. It's different. There's a different moral issue when you're dealing with companies that involve people's lives. That's true. That part is true. And that's something maybe the new administration can look into or work on this kind of thing. What's going on? Try to do something where they could bring healthcare costs down. There's got to be something, you know, solutions to it. But anyway, that's my rant of the day. Yeah, I wanted to put that out there. I just couldn't believe how they caught the guy and the story around it. I just couldn't believe that. And it's really amazing what happened, because it sounded like the case had gone cold. Only because the guy, the criminal, the alleged criminal, was amazingly not smart about what he did, even though he's supposed to be a really smart guy. How could this be? I don't know. The whole thing, it's an amazing, you know, an unfortunate, amazing story, though, how he got caught and the whole bit. So that's my rant. Because guess what, guys? The weather's terrible here. I'm going to go in and do a workout, and then maybe I'm actually going to do some work when I get back. Do some work indoors. Hope everyone's staying dry. I hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you enjoy my video. Hit the thumbs up for me to spread the information and the topic and everything like that, you know. And we'll see what Sarasota does if he gets that propane fire pit fired up. If he invites us to see it, you know, I don't know if he will. He might be like, you got to stay in the trailer. We're going to keep the shades down. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to tell you what the fire pit, I'm going to tell you how great the fire pit is. Who knows? This is New York Dan. I will see you in the next one. And welcome aboard, new subscribers. Thank you for joining my channel. I appreciate it. And I hope I can provide good content. I'm going to give you some cruise content. It's a eclectic channel. There's a lot of different things. I'm not always doing this kind of stuff. Going to be doing some other stuff too. You'll see. All right, guys. Catch you in the next one.